My dear students, in this video, we shall be discussing about the conservation of biodiversity. See, the conservation of biodiversity means to protect biodiversity, to uplift our biodiversity, and also to manage it scientifically. Now, why we are doing all these things is just to maintain our biodiversity at the optimum level so that we can derive sustainable benefits for the present as well as for the future generations. Okay, so that is the reason why we need to conserve our biodiversity for. Okay, next we shall see about the reasons for conserving biodiversity. So we all have been saying the important uses of biodiversity. So let us see why we should conserve biodiversity. What are the reasons behind conserving biodiversity? There are many reasons for conservation of biodiversity, but all these reasons are equally important, and they can be mainly grouped into three major categories, which can be as follows. First important category is called narrowly utilitarian. Second category is known as broadly utilitarian, and the third category is known as ethical arguments. So, narrowly utilitarian, broadly utilitarian, and the ethical argument. These are the three reasons why we should conserve our biodiversity. So, now let us start with the first one, that is narrowly utilitarian. So, what do you mean by narrowly utilitarian? We humans derive countless direct economic benefits from the nature, which is in the form of food, which is like cereals, pulses, fruits, etc. Then we obtain firewood, fibers, then construction materials, industrial products like tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins, and perfumes. And also we obtain the products of medicinal importance. Okay, so all these are the direct benefits that we are obtaining from the biodiversity, and it is said that more than 25% of the drugs currently sold in the market worldwide are actually derived from the plants, and 25,000 plant species are also used for in the traditional medicine making. Okay, moreover, biodiversity-rich countries expect to reap more benefit from the increasing resources that is put into bioprospecting. Bioprospecting means exploration of the molecular, genetic as well as the species level diversity for obtaining various products of economic importance. So why we say narrowly utilitarian reason is because we are obtaining all these benefits from the nature. So in order to obtain this benefit from the nature, we have to safeguard the biodiversity. So that is what is meant by narrowly utilitarian. Okay, and next we will move on to the next category, which is called broadly utilitarian. So what is actually this broadly utilitarian? According to this argument, biodiversity is playing a very major role in ecosystem service that nature is providing. And let us see some of the important ecosystem services that is provided by the biodiversity. First of all, we can say in the previous class we have seen that the Amazon forest is producing around 20% of the total oxygen of the Earth's atmosphere due to photosynthesis, and it is because it is having a very rich biodiversity, very thick wealth of forest is being conserved in Amazon region. So that is the reason why we are getting maximum production of oxygen from there. That is the first important broadly. So, the second importance for the broadly utilitarian argument is pollination of flowers, without which fruits and seeds are not produced, is also provided by the pollinators. Okay, that means it will belong the insects, bumblebees, birds, and bats. So pollination is brought about by these animals. So in order to get fruits, flowers, and all these important things which we are enjoying, we need to conserve biodiversity because they are playing an indirect role in the process of providing us with fruits and other important things from the plants. So we need to safeguard the biodiversity. Then third important broadly utilitarian argument is control of floods and soil erosion. We know that even in smaller classes we are studying about how trees are important in the conservation of soil, and also in the process of preventing flood. You know that the roots of the trees will hold the soil firmly, and thus the soil erosion will be prevented. At the same time, they will help the rainwater to move deep into the inner layers of the ground, and as a result flood also will be avoided. So this is very important role ecosystem service that the biodiversity is providing. So for these reasons we need to conserve biodiversity. Then the last argument in the broadly utilitarian category is that is an intangible benefit of nature, like aesthetic pleasure of watching spring flower in full bloom, then walking through a thick forest listening to a bulbul song, etc. Of course, you know that you students, you might have also experienced such feelings when we go for excursion into a place where there are thick forest or a thick tree. While walking through the forest itself, we feel as if we are getting lot of energy, isn't it? We are able to get a fresh air, and we can enjoy the beauty of the nature, the songs of the birds, isn't it? So all these are the inquisite benefit or inquisite pleasure that the nature gives us. So in order to enjoy all these things also, we need to conserve our biodiversity. So that are the important reasons we say for broadly utilitarian reasons. Okay, so these are the four important judgments which is coming under broadly utilitarian category of biodiversity conservation. Now let us move on to the last category, which is known as the ethical argument. So in the ethical argument, we specify that every species that is living on this earth has an intrinsic value, even if it is not of any economic benefit to us. See, we are not the one who have created all these things. So God has created all these creatures. So he knows each species or each creature has its own role to play, even though it is not having any direct benefit to us. So but actually it is our moral duty to take care for their well-being and pass on to our biological legacy in the good order to our next future generation. Okay, and we know that so many plants, like for example like tulsi and people, have religious importance as well. So whatever be the plant or whatever be the animal, it's our duty to preserve them. We are also a creation of God. So as we are preserving ourselves, we need to preserve our other species. So that is what is meant by ethical argument. So for ethical reasons also, we need to conserve biodiversity. So I hope the three important reasons to conserve the biodiversity is now clear. The three important reasons are: first one is narrowly utilitarian reason, second is broadly utilitarian reason, and the third one is ethical arguments. Okay.